Yo, welcome back to the channel. Right, it's a bit of a different one today. Me and Jack are actually doing a security light, like I said, an outside light for a very good customer of mine. His dad was actually one of my first ever customers out on my own, and yeah, so it's actually a pleasure to come back here. We rewired it nearly 2 years ago-ish, something like that, the whole property, but unfortunately his dad is actually becoming very poorly, so the garden sort of got away from him, and this garden is massive. So I'm going to run through everything that we're going to be doing today. It is completely different. Jack's never done anything like this either, so like I say, stay tuned and I'll run you through what we're doing. So put it in perspective, this is, there's probably another, where I am now, there's probably another 10 meters to go to the house. So I am now walking all the way down here, and let's show you, take you down. So we've got a bit of a problem. Now, when I say we, the homeowners have got a bit of a problem through the jungle. This garden is awesome. I absolutely love this garden, to be honest. Yes, it needs a lot of maintenance, but what is happening is this garden is massive, and the problem is that it's surrounded by like a park all the way around. Now it's got out of control. The garden is massively out of control, and we don't even know where the boundaries are anymore. Now in the winter, when all this dies back, we might be looking at putting fences all the way around and trying to come up with the council and land registry where the actual boundary is and fence it all off, because we're having some little scroats are coming in and they're damaging the property basically, and I'm going to be honest, it's very annoying, and it's probably kids just being kids and smashing stuff, but at the end of the day it's frightening, you know. So if you are a kid and you're watching this, don't do this, because there are people that care about their clients. So what we're doing is, this area here is you physically can't get to the back of it, it's just too overgrown. So what we're planning on doing, I'll spin you round, is just here on the other side of here, we're actually putting a massive floodlight up that's going to sort of protect this area. So if they do come in, then they're going to, because we know exactly where they're coming in, so if they do come in, that also is going to light them up, and it's going to make them think again of, oh Jesus, it's either we're coming in, somebody can watch you and see you from the house. They don't know whether there's any security cameras going down here or not. They don't know, there might be, there might not, because we don't want them in here. And like I say, I do care deeply about the client. You know, they're not only clients now, they're good friends. So the plan is for us, we've already dug our hole here. We've got our handrail, this is what actually that is, but it's all galvanised. So we're actually going to cut this down. I'm doing it with a joint, which, yes, it does put a weakness in, but there's a reason for it. Because if your pole's 4 meters in the air, it's going to be difficult for maintenance. If that light goes in, you know, it's a part, it's going to break. So we can undo it, slide that down, change the light over, job's a good one. So the plan is for us is we're gonna have to run the armoured all the way up through, back all the way to the conservatory, feed it off a switch spur up there, keep it permanently live. Now this is the first light that's going in here, so we're going to see how that goes, and then potentially we might have to put another one in. So that is what me and Jack are up to today. So like I say, what I'm going to do is I'll explain what we're doing as I'm actually doing it, I think. Right, so that hole there is dug out to about 1/2 metre. Now we've got postcrete there, which is the best thing for us to use because it's rapid setting. So we've marked out what 1/2 metre, so I want that, roughly speaking, 1 metre sticking out of the ground to that joint. So I've measured that all down, so it will give me 1/2 metre down, which is actually so that's my metre down here, this mark here, and then this one here is basically where my soil line is, or roughly speaking. Depending on when I put that up is how stable I think that is, because we can make the hole bigger as in diameter or deeper. to give me the desired effect. But in fairness, once that's in, it is quite sheltered here, as you can see. It shouldn't really need to go down any more than that. So, like I say, we'll cut that now, and then I'll show you how I'm going to go about mounting that up. So I'll just rip that through. Safety first. You can leave that recording, Jack. Right, that's ripped through. So what we'll do, we'll get this plunked in the hole. Now, because of the nature of it, is that the way it's clamped, because it's clamped at one side, it automatically tries to push the post like that. Okay, so you have to sort of pick a happy medium. Now, I would rather my top section, which is what you actually see, to be nice and true and level, than the bottom one, if that makes any sense to you. Because if you are concentrating fixing on that one as being completely level, it's actually this bit that you're going to see that's going to look a bit weird. So I think personally that is plenty high enough. I think after that, what I'm going to do, I think personally, I think I might dig that down a little bit more, because I'm about 90% sure that as it stands right now it'll be okay, but I'd rather be 100%. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dig it down a tiny bit more. Right, so just to explain to you, so I've just dug this down another 150 mil, something like that, and I've just used the top of the sledgehammer to tamp the bottom down to make sure it's got a, obviously there's not any weak spots as such at the bottom. So I was just explaining to Jack, because this is all new to you, isn't it, mate? You've not done any of this before. So the next stage is now, you drop your pole in, you put a bit of water in, not too much, just sort of like a quarter full, then get your postcrete in. As one of us is holding it level, the other one is going around tamping it down all the way around, and then you put a bit more postcrete in and still tamp it down, and as somebody's holding it level, that's the crucial bit then, is holding it all level, and then making sure, I was just saying to Jack, is that you don't, make sure you don't come all the way up to the top with postcrete where the hole is, because if you do, you're going to have like a concrete head as such, whereas if you drop it down 100 mil, you can put your soil back over the top of it and grass will grow there, and all you'll see then is just the pole sticking out the ground. So what we'll do, we'll set you up as we're doing it, trying to find a decent location for you, but yeah, we'll set it up and see how we get on with it. Right, so I've already put water in. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to start pouring some postcrete in. How much? Just keep going. Just keep putting quite a lot in and try and get it around the back of it as well. Yeah. There she is. On the pole. So, right, I'll just bring you in. Right, so you see what I mean? As you've got your pole there, it obviously kinks visually, looks that way. But when you actually got on your level, you're making sure it's nice and level up there, and also level this way. Yeah, so now that's all in, and yet that's holding on under its own like steam as such now. So like I say, Jack's first time he's ever done this as well, so he's left a decent amount of for soil to go back in there. So what we'll do is put a little splash of water on that just to make sure that cures all the way down, but obviously the moisture in the ground will sort that out. And then realistically, I'm going to show you what I'm planning on doing on how I'm getting the cable through all that lot. But what I think we're going to do now is we're going to try not to get stung and try and feed all this cable back to the conservatory. So wish us luck. Right, quick update where we are, or where we're at. So we've got the pole all built up now on the ground, so I'll just show you that. So we've got a Saxby, I think it's a 35, what is it? Hold on, I'll tell you. Move all this bit out the way. It's a 50 watt, sorry, I'm telling you lies. So what we've done, we've mounted it up on there, so we've got the whisker box through the back. Mounted it. Now that clamp, you can buy specific clamps for it, but what I've done, obviously, and done this case and in the past, is if you just go to your local car supplying merchants, I suppose, ask for an exhaust clamp. They were like 50p for each clamp. So I imagine if you went to the wholesalers and got them from the wholesalers, you'll probably pay 5-6 quid for something like that does exactly the same job. So that's basically where we've built it up at the minute. So we've run our flex through to the bottom. Now what I've done on this side, I might not be able to show you very well, but see, I've cut a notch out, a little notch at the bottom, filed it all and made sure there's no sharp edges and stuff, because then what I'm going to do is have that coming through there, and then it's going to come through that hole on that bit. Now the reason why I've done this way is because when that light fails, because ultimately they do, you know, they break and all the rest of it, is that what I'm going to have to do then is undo it, and then I can lie it down flat onto the floor here, which is going to make life a lot easier, because it will be me that comes back anyway. So why not make my life easier rather than using my ladders with the extendable reach on it? I just think it's so much better for maintenance. It's not like somebody who's coming into the garden is going to carry an Allen key with them to take that down, because it's no point. So what I'll do is I'll put you back over there on the tripod, and then I will get this lifted up into position. Would be easier with two, but Jack. Up to the toilets. Like that. So it's not catching on anything. It's all loose. There's no chafing that's going to happen. We'll zip tie that down here, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to terminate it in the armoured coming up here, which you probably can't see that now on that angle actually. So what I'll do is I'll just show you that. So what we're going to do is zip tie that down here, and then terminate it and mount the whisker box directly onto this, I think, and do it that way, and then we just need to bring the armoured back round there. So yeah, so we'll take that off and I'll show you the light. So she's up there like that. So what we've done, or I've done, is I've used that clamp come through the back to bolt it all up, so that's nice and tight. And then what I'm going to do now is get it all glanded up. So I'm going to try and do that with you being able to see it. Whether or not that's possible or not, I don't know, but I'll try. So what I'm going to do here is use one of the brass fittings just to break through that seal at the bottom, because I tend to find sometimes if you're using just the plastic one, well, on the last one it just did that. It just kept popping out the threads, so don't really know why. It's quite frustrating. So I'm just going to use the brass to go through. So like that, and then wind that back out, and same again on this one. Because you might think, why have you not just gone straight down from there straight into the top of there? But the way I've always been taught is that you want to have basically a loop down to come back up, because if you have a loop down that comes back up, if water runs down, which inevitably it will come to the lowest point and drop rather than going up. But there is obviously such a thing as capillary action, which water will travel up, but obviously you got it obviously to a set there's a set amount that it will go up, so it's not going to go up, you know, more than that. You know, it's not going to happen. Obviously there'll be someone out there a lot cleverer than me who'll be able to tell you exactly how. Oh no, it's going to be, it travels up at 0.2 of a millimetre within, for every 100 millilitres of water. So if you are that guy, don't bother commenting, because I'm not interested. So I'll wind this back in on there, and then what we'll do is that bit, we'll dress that down there, swoop that in like so, and then on this side is obviously the armoured, so get rid of that bit. It's quite nice. We just had our lunch with the homeowner. He's just popped down to the garden, and we've just been chatting about the garden and how big it is and how overgrown it's got. So in the winter they're on about clearing it all back, so it's been a good asset to have. I know what I've done. So I want to terminate that armoured. Just wind that down a bit. Okay, 1 second. Like that. You're right, Jack, is that done? Yeah. Cool. Okay, if you go and get the switch spur out the van, oh, you need the keys, and the pattress, and a bit of 2.5 mil we'll need.
Yeah. Do we just leave that there with the SDS?
Yeah, and then we'll go into, once we've done this bit, we'll go into there and sort that out. Okay, right, so I've just had Jack digging another little trench where the cable comes across a path out. Look at that. Just cut me on that. That was my own stupid fault. I find that those sorts of things bleed like mad. So, anyway, Jack's brought all this armoured through, so what I find mental, right, Jack's crawled all the way through all of that, as you've seen if you follow me on Instagram, and he's not cut himself once, he's not like he's not got stung or anything. I've touched 2 bits for that bleeding. Oh, I'm gonna have to do the classic Sparky. Hold on, I have to fix myself here. Yeah, Jack's not cut himself at all. Right, fixed. So, yeah, he's not cut himself once. I don't know how he's done that. I stuck my hand in there once and I got stung straight away. Maybe it's a ginger thing. Maybe they're immune. So, got the shroud on, so cut that back. And then we'll slide that on. Then I'll use this backhoe. Slice it is, I suppose, the best way to describe it. On there, I found, like I just showed Jack the CK one this morning, and I used to have that, and it's good. I just think this is better. I'm going to be honest, cheaper and better. You know, probably provoking a few thoughts there, but I find the backhoe tool a lot better for doing this. It's like I say, each to their own. Everyone's got their own opinion on stuff, but I just prefer this. And then, it's roughly speaking, it's my old friend who was helping me, training me. He said, you see, funnily enough, as prepared, the width of your electrical tape is roughly where you need to be for cutting. So if you put a mark on there, handy finger tool there, got to pattern that, is where you need to be for cutting back to take the sheathing off. I don't normally measure it or anything because it's just sort of experience, but just want to show you. So literally spin that round like that and then cut that one off and get rid of that. Some of these will have gone all the way through. You can keep going and, you know, they'll cut them all off, but you know, just a couple of wiggles and they're all sorted. And then that's that bit. And then for this inner core, as again, same friend said, all you need to do is basically like lick the knife around it, which sounds a mental saying, but it's always stuck with me. So what he means by it is you literally just rest it on and just push it all the way around, because if you're dragging it, it generally scores, so it generally cuts too deep. Whereas if you do it that way, I've never had one damage any cores, if you can see that very properly. So his saying, not mine, just lick it round. Whether he was just being a pervert, I don't know, but I liked it either way and it stuck, so it obviously worked. And then spin that round like that and that opens those up nicely. Slide that in there, and then you've got to make sure that none of your metal strands like that are on the inside. All of them got to be on the outside. Now, I'm always fascinated to know how other people do, you know, have their methods of doing things. You know, it's not to say that mine's the only way to do it, because it's not. I genuinely am interested in knowing how other people do their just work in general, because like I say, everybody's different. Everyone's got their own view on stuff, and they might do something that I might think, actually, that's wicked. I'm going to try that. And if that's the case, and it's really, really good, then why not learn from it? You know, I don't see why we shouldn't all learn from each other, and try and be better. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Just try and do it so we can all learn from each other and go, oh, have you tried it this way? Because I think that's what YouTube's all about. It's just having Well, it is for me anyway. He's doing something and just going, oh yeah, have you tried that? Have you tried this? I mean, I know there's some different grips that you can get now that Knipex make, and I probably will get some, but I haven't got them yet, but they look brilliant. Really, really good bits of kit. I think they're like wrench pliers, I think, or something like that. So if you're listening, Knipex, and you want to send me some, I definitely would appreciate that, thank you. But until they turn up, Knipex, come on, hook me up, I will use these. So, and that's basically the termination on there, and then I'll put that back into there without slicing my finger like I did last time. And then we'll sleeve these up. So, funnily enough, I have some sleeving in my pockets. Sleeving? No, I haven't. Oh, Jack.
What?
Hello. Didn't realise you were there. Have you got any blue sleeving in your pocket?
No.
Could you go and grab some for me? Thank you. That's what's good about having Jack. Not the only thing, but he's good for as a gopher. One thing I noticed about Jack is he don't tell him this, and Jack, shut your face if you're listening to this. It's all lies. It's just for the camera. Is that he actually really enjoys the job in general, and he's not afraid to get stuck in, as you clearly seen from if you follow us on Insta, you'd have seen today. He's just crawled all the way down through all the brambles and all sorts to get this armoured installed. He's the only apprentice we ever had who would be like, yeah, all right, whatever, I'll crack on with that. So, like I say, I don't want to tell him too much, but oh, in fact, I've got to ring him because while he's there, I need to get a bit of another bit of cable. Will he answer, girls and boys?
Welcome to the...
He's not answering. It's because he's walking down here. Jack?
Yeah?
I was trying to ring you. I'm going to need a bit of... I'll have that sleeving off you, but I'm going to need... If you just cut a length of that, the green and yellow single cable.
Single cable?
Yeah, but if you... I think there's
not
one that's...
not multi-core.
Yeah, the multi-core one.
Multi-core, yeah.
Yeah, if you get the smaller one, because there's a 2.5mm one, and then there's a one that's like a 1mm, something like that.
You want the 1mm one?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay.
Thank you. I did ring you. Save you a journey. Right. Right, so they're all sleeved up and that's all ready to go, and so we'll get this zip tied in. The only thing I worry about on this, well, there's loads of things I worry about it on it, but is with zip ties. They're not a permanent. Obviously, they've got a lifespan, haven't they? So that's the only thing for me, is whether I can use something else. And I can't quite think off the top of my head what would be good to use. I'm sure something will come to me. Some weird animal noises going on. Thanks, Jack. Right, if you go into if you can ask if you can get into that conservatory, and then we'll start thinking about getting if you get that socket front off,
yeah,
and then we'll start coming in sorting all that bit out as well. In there. Like I say, the walk back to the van is a bit of a trek right now. So to be fair to Jack, he's doing the mileage. So then just tuck all those in. So I'll tighten that gland up at the bottom. Tuck all those in. Yes, I can use two-way ones if I wanted to, but I didn't on there, because actually this whisker box that I'm using came with these from CEF. They actually come pre-installed with the these Wagos, whatever you want to call them. I prefer to call them Wagos because I think Wago sounds a bit like you're trying to pretend to be German or something, and I find it a bit weird. So if you do pronounce them Wagos, then that is up to you, but I will not be doing that. It's like saying it's Adidas and Adidas, isn't it? Nike or Nike. I'm going for all the copyrights today. Although I don't think they'll really give a monkeys about my little YouTube channel. Let's be honest. Right, so essentially that is it. So like I say, we've got all that tied in now. Like I say, we've got the notch in, so it can't move anywhere. It's not, there's no sharp edges or anything like that. And then she runs up, and it runs up to be roughly 4 meters high over that way. So I'll get the front on there, and then we'll sort all that out, and then I've just got to bury that bit into the ground there, and then that's pretty much that sorted. So we'll go down the other end, we'll get all that tied in. Now the other end, it's actually just going to be wired up via a switch spur off the conservatory, which has already been rewired, like I say, a couple of years ago now, I think it was. So yeah, so we'll get that on, and then we'll come down the other end and do our testing, and happy days. We'll catch up with you once it's all done. So right, better get cracking. Right, we're coming to the end now. So Jack's just doing the testing, so he is behind me, lot. There he is, yonder. So we're just coming down here now, because I'll just show you what the finished article is like. So, and here she is in all her glory. So, and I think it looks pretty sunny now. So Jack's just doing his final testing now. So he's, like I say, we've got it all done in for maintenance basically, so we can take that off. Like I say, we'll flap that down. It's all buried in it to this point, and then it's all ran across the back all the way, right the way down there, and then it tucks round the corner where we're feeding it via a switch spur. So I'll come through to this side, and hopefully, so I'm going to come down here where these kids are coming through, or maybe not that kids, maybe it's just some weirdos. So basically, and there's the light. So as you come through, it should pick you up nicely, and I reckon if you come through even to this point here where I am now, the garden goes back like way off that way still, but this is where they're definitely coming in. So if we can light them up on this section, that's the best thing. So yeah, so it's actually been a really nice little job. I mean, the drag alone all the way up there, so like I say, it's a bit of a closer view on that. So we mounted on that pole there. We've managed to get the whisker box actually mounted behind, because as we all know, with the LEDs, that the lights that are there, they all come with a little flying lead, and they don't like you undoing the back of the the actual light fitting itself. So we've managed to mount the whisker box behind that, and by doing that, if that does break, you know, we can then take it down and replace it easily without having to mess about with the wiring at the bottom. So yeah, so like I say, if you've enjoyed it and you found it interesting, don't forget to subscribe. That would be fantastic, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up, leave your comments, good or bad, and like I say, I try and answer most of them. To be fair, I'm pretty good. I do try and do my my part. But from me and Jack, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers guys.